Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. The name of this video is A Sharp Dose of Reality. I've saved a lot of what people have been messaging me, and I want to be able to bring that to the public space. Some may be true, some may be bullshit, but seeing that everything we get in from the media is bullshit, somebody have to stand up and step up and speak out. Whoever is the distributor for Nestle in Tobago, Nestle in Tobago, your distributor Drew's Trading in Tobago, had one of its employees receive positive test results for COVID-19 on Thursday, May 13th. Yesterday, it was learned that a second employee has now also received a positive test result. I understand that the employee's last day at work was mid last week. I cannot confirm if any contact tracing has been done or whether the distributor has sanitized the premises. The distributor continues to sell its products to many various supermarkets and other outlets around the island of Tobago. This person urgently requests that someone in authority gets involved and deal with this situation because it has a potential to be a super spreader given the wide reach of this Nestle distributor throughout the island of Tobago. Thank you for your urgent attention. Now, as you all send things to me, I forwarded them to Gary Griffith. I know I pissing Gary Griffith off. Gary's not the government. But there's nothing else set up in this latrine pit that is PNM run Trinidad and Tobago. So I am just going to now do live videos and put the information in the public space, and hopefully somebody hears it and actions it. So whoever is responsible, Dr. Thompson, I believe in Tobago, please go and find out what is going on in Drew Distributors for Nestle in Tobago. To all the people who want to send me Malcolm X, Stalin, and all the other things you all just stumble upon, please, don't waste your time. More importantly, don't waste mine. If you're listening to me at all, you know that I'm dealing with these things for years. If you all now find it, then where I am now, you'll be there 20 years from now. Because I've been saying these things to you 27 years now. Please, 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 do not use any messaging format to send me any philosophy that you've stumbled upon that you think I need to hear. Trust that I have heard it. Do not send me pictures of any religious blessing. As much as I appreciate it, I get hundreds of messages a day. Those of you who send links, YouTube's, Facebook pages, and just send the link, know that they just deleted. I don't even take the time to click. If you don't have the respect and the decency to give me a description of what it is, I have no time with it, and I have no time with you. And I have to tell you all this plain. Repeat offenders that sends memes of hearts and bunnies and love, don't ever send me any network marketing. Don't ever ask me to click on your daughter's child Easter bonnet parade. I am not the person for that. This is a sharp dose of reality. Today, my country is going down a toilet. And I don't have time for bullshit anymore. I want to tell you this before I continue reading. A former government minister pissed me off this morning. A fellow by the name of Surud Rambachan. Surud Rambachan found himself COVID positive and decided to find God. He's a man who was in the parliament, in the government, in the cabinet. Surujatan Rambachan. And he is saying he doesn't understand how he contracted it. Now it's a long, meandering waste of my freaking time. And how they managed to survive it. But when he reached the part where he says, I want you to hear this. Today, with 23 deaths, I'm counting my blessings. I was reminded about the image in Baja Govindam of the water drop playing on the lotus leaf. It has an unstable existence and could fall off at any point in time. COVID places you in that zone. COVID tells you how unstable life is. COVID tells you how little control you have except your faith and willpower. I promised myself that I'll beat COVID. I have kept telling my son that we are going to survive and be better. I remind myself that I have work to complete, especially a shrine I am building to honor the memory and lives of our ancestors. I envisage 10 years into the future of what I want to see and do in that building. I am giving myself a purpose to live for and to survive and grow in the strength I need. I am physically weak after these 3 weeks. I envisage that it will take months to recover. After COVID, absolutely no one except God will dictate my life. I will live for me because I have understood once again the meaning of the gift of a human birth. I want to live to sing the glories of the Ramayana, to chant kirtan and bhajans to inspire others by my singing, to reach for a higher faith and a deeper devotion. Surud Rambachan, with an abundance of respect, kiss my half-red ass. It is shit snakes and jokers like you who did not know this before, who just got elected to office because you were the right Indian in the right place at the right time, that wasted our time. You sat in a cabinet when I raised the issue about the ambulance service in this country and public health. And you and Kamala and the rest of that UNC government denied us the opportunity to investigate. I ended up being sued by Abood and Anderson and Global Medical Response for defamation. Not one member of government stood up to even try to look. When people are asking now what's going on with the ambulance service, rewind to what Philip Edward Alexander was saying when Kamala was the Prime Minister. It was put on the front page of the newspaper when the then Minister of Health called into CNC3 when I was being interviewed and said, if the ambulance reach there in 30 minutes or less, don't complain. Even KFC does take longer. And that was the bullshit. That was the bullshit. And again, I'm telling the other activists outside there talking, who getting thousands of likes and shares when they jamming PNM, but getting 50 and 100 when you're jamming UNC, is because UNC voters doing what PNM voters do when the other side in office. And that is use your voice to destabilize the other side so that their side could slip in and deal with the same financiers. I am saying today, there are good people in the PNM and there are good people in the UNC. But both of those parties have long since served their purpose to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Surud Rambachan, that you have now found God, but when your elected office was the voice of God and you didn't know God then, you should have been singing in the parliament. You should have been dedicating yourself to chant kirtans and bhajans in the parliament and make sure that your everyday made life better, because under your government as well, Surud Rambachan, $5 billion a year was spent on public health for the pack of shit that we have, that our people, we pretending now, we weeping over COVID. People telling me this morning, Phil, you should be Prime Minister. I want nothing in this country now. Now that the entire sewer pit has erupted, Trinidad ain't even start to fall apart yet. All you think, all you know, all you feel, all you have an idea, what's coming, what is about to befall this country. And this is a voice note. This is my face with my name, Philip Edward Alexander. And anybody in any public office want to challenge me on what I'm about to say, tell them feel free to stand up and debate. Don't talk through the media that won't interview me for a response. Don't play hide and seek politics. Come out and talk straight and let the people hear, because I have been saying this for years. Basdeo Pandey is still alive. So is Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. So is Keith Rowley. 3 of them. All bullshit aside, why have we never secured this nation's borders? Basdeo Pandey is the sharpest wit I have ever spoken to. He answers on point. He has an answer for everything. I did an interview with Basdio Pandey. Go and watch Basdio Pandey's Dare in the Headlight response when I ask him about the drug trade. Go and ask him why we never secure this nation's borders. Go and ask him why 40 years after Justice Scott did a commission of inquiry into the drug trade in Trinidad and Tobago and found evidence of such damning situations and circumstances, it could have thrown down our entire country. Why 40 years later we still can't ask who bringing in the $11 billion worth of cocaine into Trinidad and Tobago, and all of the activists who talking outside there, until they bring the conversation down to cocaine and cocaine money, we're not talking about the same Trinidad and Tobago. We're not talking about the same storm. Trinidad's problem was and is cocaine and cocaine-fueled corruption. Cocaine brings in millions, hundreds of millions of dirty US dollars that are used to fund political parties and to corrupt state officials in Trinidad and Tobago at every level. There are things that if you heard, and parliamentarians know, MPs know, senators know, that they could talk underprivileged. I can't. That if you knew, you'd puke about what has taken place in this country, the highest offices in the land. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and it comes to this, watching PBS broadcast violence statistics against women in Trinidad and Tobago and all the work that was done. Watching PBS broadcast that yesterday, knowing that SABGA owns Guardian Media and wouldn't. Knowing that TV6 is controlled by the government because we inherited the majority of TV6 shares when we used taxpayers' funds to bail out the rotten and looted Clico and CL Financial, two government ministers who were board directors at the time of the looting, went on to the highest offices in this land. The reason Trinidad and Tobago is a shithole this morning is because Trinidadians are too blasted foolish and they've played race games for all the time. That's why Suraj Rambachan end up in parliament. That's why every one of these shit snakes who are not qualified to hold the jobs they had got there. We have to do a best of the worst scenario to justify any government. $3 trillion have been spent in this country in 58 years. What do you have to show for it? SM Jaleel. I want to read this one. SM Jaleel. Okay. Employees of JTA supermarkets are today feeling the brunt of COVID restrictions. All have been advised to wear double masks together with a face shield. They cannot remove any while on the compound and cannot lift any for a breath of clean air as a result of cameras. Employees are complaining of headaches, nausea, and more. There is no voice. The employer has the last say. I am telling all the workers of JTA, walk off the job, go home. Your health is more important than the little pittance of a salary you're getting. And trust me, it is time now you all work together. Everybody in this country stand together. Stand together. You cannot wear 2 masks and a face shield for 8 hours. There's nobody in the world that's stupid. Don't be that person. If your employer is not taking you on, and anybody else, 682-2110. 682-2110. If it is going on in your company, I come into SM Jaleel, I'm looking for it now. I'm looking for the SM Jaleel issue now. Because people being tested. First Citizens Bank call center. First Citizens Bank call center. People are complaining that people have tested positive. I don't know if that is true or not. And that you all are not taking the required action to safeguard and protect the rest of the people. If that is true, First Citizens Bank call center, please address your employees. SM Jaleel. They have a 1% family who the entire family got COVID and gave it to the gardeners. And the gardener and his family suffering right now. And all I can tell you is this. I say it in code. You know what I heard today? I heard even Anil Roberts frustrated with PNM and UNC. Believe that? Hear this. Hear this. I saved the video, I ain't saved the audio. Hi, good day. I got your number from Facebook. I was wondering if you assist with matters pertaining to a company running with COVID workers and not taking the time to shut down to stop the spread. My simple answer was yes. Great. The company I'm talking about is SM Jaleel, also known as Coal. A lot of the workers are contracting the virus, and those who don't have it are in fear of getting it. One of the workers died from the said virus on the 14th of May last Friday. Due to having symptoms, I was sent for a test this morning, and at least 10 SM Jaleel workers were present also from early in the morning. More would have come after. The health workers there said they are constantly testing SMJ workers. The company is still refusing to shut down for the safety of our health. I am home since Friday, and my manager haven't even contacted me to find out anything. He is safe working from home. I got negative results this morning from HR manager, but still have symptoms. No one has indicated to stay home, which I want to do or come to work. It's real sad in there. SM Jaleel, step up. Hear this.
Any government tell an elderly person, you too old, you go over there and dead. No ventilator for you, no ICU for you. Sit down there and wait to dead. And you all still have this asinine view of left foot, right foot, red jersey, yellow jersey. Not just total incompetence should never be accepted.
When even Anil Roberts, fed up of red jersey, yellow jersey, it come in, you know. You all don't know what come in. You all don't know what come in. But it come in. People who asking me, Philip, you are the candlelight movement. You're one candle in the whole thing. The PBS should have focused on you. This is never about me. And I want to say that clear. I want the information to get out in the whole world. Trinidad has existed under a cloud of lies, government lies, for too long. Some of these things I want to read to you today. I was in a conversation with somebody, and part of that conversation made its way around. Somebody said to me, yes, I've seen some of those messages. In my opinion, they ask sarcastically, where is Philip? Because they are covered in shame. I believe within themselves they have come to see that all of what you and the PEP have been saying was and is true. I also believe that with the correct and strategic approach, they too will be converted. I always maintain your brain, foresight, vision, leadership characteristics, and forward-thinking mind are exactly what are most needed to turn this nation around. I think it is almost rude and maybe disrespectful to say to you, maintain your drive, because I could never do what you do. But with the greatest respect and admiration, maintain your drive. Nothing is going to change in this country as long as people are willing to accept a racist crapo from either party as their leader, just to say my race in office. People vote PNM on race. This is another one. People vote PNM on racist or corrupt basis and then expect God or other people to do the work they voted PNM to do. Now this person is rabidly UNC. But everything that he says, that you hear the word PNM, add the word UNC. Because I want to say again today, there are good people in the UNC, but this UNC, the heart of this UNC is rotten and corrupt to the core. And that there are people at the heart of this UNC that makes it impossible for the good people, all of you who come on all the threads and say, let me work together, let me put all things aside and work together, that cannot happen. There are some corrupt people in the center of the UNC who just trying to get their horses in through the front door so they could thief money like the PNM. So don't think that they want good, strong activists inside. They don't. People vote PNM on racist or corrupt basis and then expect God or other people to do the work they voted PNM to do. But these people are not children. If they are allowed to vote PNM and then we give them hampers and money when they face the consequences of their decision, we are only encouraging them to repeat the process. You, as a guy who's putting out a lot for a cause and to help these same people, should be aware that these same people will cuss you and call you by demeaning names at election time as they go back to vote PNM again. A little story told to me by a doctor who walked the Tunapuna seat in 1986 in support of Dr. Emmanuel Hossain. As Hossain approached a certain house on a hill, a woman looked out through a window and said, "Doc, I know you just see me for free when I come to your office, but if you make one step closer to my house, I will throw this posy of pee on you today." And that sums up the people you are dealing with. I have decided that the more I help such people, the more I hinder them from facing the results of their vote. Therefore, I choose to step aside and allow them to face the music they pressed the play button to hear. And I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. There are people from all over this country messaging me for hampers and for help. And there's nothing that I could do. And if I dedicate myself to coming on Facebook every single day and begging for food and hampers and clothes and whatever, I'd get. People like to give me when I beg. And I could organize volunteers to feed all these people. But you know what? It's Keith Rowley's job. And today, Keith Rowley has to do his job. Somebody else messaged me, can a private company jackass the scene? If it's a Trinidad and Tobago company, of course it can. While roti shops are closed, a chain of many grocery, baked goods, beverage stores have used the opportunity handed them by the PNM to sell the same roti that the roti shops are selling. I cannot testify to the taste, but I can say they are the same size as your average roti. The big difference, however, is in the price. A simple roti that goes for between $20 to $25 is selling at that chain of profiteers for $40. Now, given that all other food outlets are closed, this is nothing but selfish, greedy Trinis digging the eyes of their fellow Trinis out. I understand that another such establishment is selling doubles, and guess what? The price per unit works out to be about $8. The fear is that in taking advantage of their fellow Trinis, these companies might encourage doubles vendors and roti shops to jack up their prices when they reopen for business. Apart from all the shit about all of we is one and wearing red for sports matches, all of we are not one. The PNM has divided this country along every conceivable line: race, religion, skin color, geographic residence, money, you name it. This is why Trinidad and Tobago will remain a shithole country. The equality we boast about is another fake media-driven myth meant to preserve the multiplicity of divisions that will always keep Trinidad and Tobago stuck in the mud it's in. Kudos to the PNM, really. They have pulled off a 58-year-old con job on its victims, meaning the people who are swindled daily by the all of we thief gang and its cohorts in the so-called TT business elite. Now I'll tell you this. For 27 years, I have fed the homeless, rescued the orphans, dealt with the disabled. And it always irked me the disproportionate number of Afro-Trinbagonians that made up the homeless, the orphans, and the disabled without help in the disabled community. And I always wondered, and I can't fit my mind around it, if to the black community in Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM is their party, why does the PNM treat its members so? Even poor Syrians could get jobs in Syrian businesses. They don't let them end up vagrants on the side of the road. Why it is? I mean, if you're going to run the country on race, then run it properly on race. Treat your race good too, da. Why so many of our people have to suffer like this? It doesn't make anything like sense. It doesn't. But I am not turning my blood to water anymore. I done. I am not forming a political party. I'm not. Now is not the time to come to prove the point. Anybody who ends up in government now will have zero income, will have a damaged taxpayer base. Last budget, a little more than 40% of the government's income was taxation. Let that sink in. Of the $60 billion that they wanted to spend in the last budget period, 40%, more than $30 billion, direct taxpayer funds from the pockets of citizens to pay for all that the government does. That number is going to try to double this year in a time when the taxpayers are broken. Where you're getting the money from? Where? We are tapped out. We've outborrowed everybody we have access to. We have nowhere to go for a loan. We owe the World Bank, the IDB, the ADB, the QDB. Anybody with DB in the name, we owe them. We owe the local banks. We have floated bonds. We have to pay back those bonds. We in trouble. And Trinidad is last night, I spoke to Inchan and Stefan a little bit on a live video. And we spoke about what pays the person who answers the phone when you call. Listen, the way this COVID spreading right now, expect that besides the clothes store and the shoe store and the other stores, those inconveniences, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Just now, if they don't get a handle on this, you call Tech to come and fix the lights and they have nobody. They sit down in the darkness. They have nobody coming out. Nobody. Police, you can't say let the army, somebody tell me to let army come and distribute. Army is people too. When your people get sick, army people are going to get sick too. We are not dealing with it. They have people who have gone to get tested and then been sent home, jump in a taxi and go home, infect everybody along the way. Come back and forth. You gone to get tested because you have symptoms. People complaining they're waiting 3 weeks now to get results. They've lost control of it. And anybody coming into government now, I don't want it. I don't want nothing. I don't want a job. No, don't ask me. Don't ask me at all. Nobody, whoever they think they are, nobody gonna have it easy. And I think the best punishment right now for this PNM is to leave them right there. Don't challenge them. I don't care what the opposition have to say anymore. UNC is a waste of time. Waste of time. And until the UNC members could gut the UNC of the shithounds that operating inside it, those political opportunists who know they ask from the neighbor elbow, fellas like Dave Tanko and Rodney Charles, to name a few, that have that party against the ropes and floundering. Kamala can't make a note. Kamala can't talk. She ain't know what to say. So she wait until she hear what I talking about. I talking about candlelight, Kamala talking about candlelight. I talking about porous borders, Kamala talking about porous borders. Was I talking about it? Kamala talking about it too. I am her greatest unpaid advisor because the rest of the Canal Kongs and her party can't tell her what to say. I had to tell Ravi Ratiram last night. I'm going to pull it up and tell you what I tell Ravi. Because I have access to these people and I talk to them. And I tell them she's looking like an ass. Whoever is advising her. This is what Ravi put out last night, right? Ravi put this out last night that Kamala had to say. Kamala is disappointed by PM's obscene reference. Jackass is in the Bible. And I said that to Fazir Muhammad. Mary wrote a jackass to Bethlehem. So if you think that it is obscene, they'll take every Bible out of every church. It's not. And if you say that the word jackass is used in a derogatory manner to mean stupid, so is the word stupid. So it's not obscene. And it's not derogatory. It may be demeaning, but that is human nature. And you are the last person, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, to be talking to anybody about what come out of their mouth because you talk a crocus bag of shit too. And your supporters afraid to tell you that Because they have a bunch of people selling the narrative that if Kamala go, the UNC collapse. Well, I want those people to hear me say this, because the UNC followers that are following me, hoping that I am going to prop up the UNC, hear me say this. The UNC cannot win with Kamala. You all have not one little piece of support beyond the Caroni Bridge. You've lost the East-West corridor. You've lost the East-West corridor. There is no way in heaven or hell a UNC led by Kamala Persad-Bissessar could win. Jaleel John is gagged and silenced. They don't let Jaleel speak. She's the most powerful speaker in the UNC now. She crosses divides that Rudal Monilal cannot cross. So putting Rudal Monilal on TV6 this morning entertained Fazir and it entertained Rudal. But it didn't entertain anybody else because nobody else is taking it on. But Jaleel John, if she was the person on TV6 this morning, and hear me again for free, UNC supporters, if you ever want to see the corridors of government again, kiss Kamala 5 fingers and 10 fingers and 10 toes. But tell her, ma'am, you have to step aside. Like Basdeo Pandey, you can't win a bingo in Trinidad again, and you have to face it. This is not about disrespect or personalities. This is about the truth, and we need to go forward as a country. And the people that you've surrounded yourself with in the UNC has left the people hoping and praying for a miracle. You've lost all of the names that was anything in the UNC. All are gone. It's you and Monilal. That's it. You've attracted some good people who've been fighting their young lives in politics. Saddam Hussein, Vandana Mohit. David Nakid come back. He's trying to look to help, and you know that you can't help poor people on the corridor by working in the PNM. So he's trying to do it in the UNC. Look, Fitzgerald Hines failed Laventille East, so they put him to fail Laventille West. Those people don't matter to the PNM. They don't. And they matter to David Nakid. David Nakid is a wealthy man. David Nakid is a global professional footballer. He's been Caribbean Player of the Year twice, and he's been National Player of the Year once. David Nakid doesn't need to be in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. He doesn't need to be in the Senate. David Nakid is a strong Muslim and a strong Trinbagonian. And he wants a better country. And he's tried to convince me that he is going to try to see if he can get it done in the UNC. But I told him when he went for screening that they're going to frustrate him. They're going to frustrate him. And he's going to hold it because he's a disciplined guy and he's going to try. But he's not going to get nothing done. Because to get anything done, the UNC has to win. But the people inside the UNC who are frustrating any chance of those who can help that party win, coming on board the party, are the reasons why the UNC cannot ever win. And Kamala does not have the strength to purge the party of the people that need purging and to bring into the party the people that could bring votes. Dave Tanko is going to win the city in. Rodney Charles is going to win the city in. But I'm telling you, a porch chair and a swing set could win those 2 seats if you put it in a UNC jersey. UNC, that is the UNC equivalent of Laventille East and Laventille West. No matter what you put there, you could put Jesus Christ, Moses and Elijah to run in Laventille East, Laventille West, Port of Spain South, and all 3 lost the deposit. Because PNM is a cult. UNC is a cult now. We are not voting on what is best for the country. We vote in race. They're chaining us up with that. Put the right Indian in office, put the right African in office. What about the right Trinbagonian to fix the country? When will we ever come to that? When will that ever be the discussion? I am watching rich Syrian people, Chinese people, white people panicking now. Because they've come face to face. Everything that they thought that I was saying, that was hyperbole, that was over-exaggeration. Now they're watching their loved ones die alone. They're watching their business be attacked by the government. If you could go in Price Mart and tell Mute he can't sell nothing but groceries, how come you can't go in the gas station and tell the gas station owner in St. Christopher's gas station, Scott Fabres, how come you can't go and tell him you can't sell nothing but gas and oil? And why you can't go in Starlight Drugs and tell Gerard Aboud you can't sell nothing but drugs? You can't sell nothing but pharmaceuticals. You can't be selling food and lunch and dinner, and the restaurants can't. You can't be selling stationery and clothes and toys. The toy store closed down, the stationery store closed down. And that was the argument that you used against Price Mart. And how come that is good for Price Mart and is not good for the others? And I use those examples even though I go Starlight Drugs. You are supposed to go in Massey stores and every shelf that have anything that is not groceries, cordon it off like you did in Price Mart. But you're not doing that. The Massey stores I go to, the day before the state of emergency, I went to the grocery and they didn't have a single trolley. It was like Christmas Eve. The place jam-packed. We've all jackassed the system. We've made a mess of this. But people have taken advantage of it. El Pecos can't open and sell food, social distance, by the pack, by the box. Come and take and go. The roti shop that I just go to, she can't open and sell her roti. But here, we have gas stations selling food. We have groceries selling food. We have drugstores selling food. We have bakeries selling food. But the actual people who making the food, they can't sell the food. And the Attorney General has the audacity to tell the population, those smart man the SOE. But that is smart manism. He who get catch saying he was on private property, smart manism. He was COVID fatigue, smart manism. Only human, smart manism. He who get catch have the audacity. But the PNM learned well from the Nazis in Germany that a lie repeated often enough comes across as the truth. Well, they're ringing up my phone and I can't take no calls. We have to face the music now, the consequences of all of this. Batten down. Though this is more than state of emergency and government abuse and corruption and theft and cocaine dollars now. This now is your family. This is your bubble. And hear me tell you this. In your little network, if you could get water and somebody else could get avocado and somebody else could get cornflakes, all you exchange and share and keep it nice, quiet. Now is not the time to stunt. Now is the time to hold your corner and batten down. Don't stunt for nobody. Don't go nowhere. Don't look for no line. Don't share no information with nobody. I hear this, I see that, I want to know about this. Cool yourself. Now, count the people who you want to be alive with you after this and be the government of that group. Make sure that you cover the basics. People have to eat and they have to drink water. So the roof over your head, even if TNT cut your electric bill, even if Flow cut you, even if you can't afford to pay for B-Mobile right now, them thing could wait. People need a roof over their head and food and water. So try and stretch your money sensibly now. Hear me as I tell you this, with all the respect I have. Batten down, become the government of your house. No matter what you hear, you protect your family. Don't make no noise. Don't raise your head. Don't let people include you when they're looking to make up numbers. Yeah? You take care of yours. Because I don't want to give you any reason to panic. But look at the condition of the country this morning. Amory Brown, who have to sing for his supper, is telling you about other places that have curfews with a complete absence of respect. Amory Brown, that's not our business. Don't tell me about who else beating their wife and kicking the children. I only care what's going on by me. And by me, we had a heads up. We had a heads up in January. We live in an island. We could have closed it off from the world and say, here now, when all you sort all your COVID shit out, check we back. But for now, we're going and grow food. And we're going and close it down. And we're going to hold hands together and get ourselves through this. But we didn't. We didn't. We had a carnival and a P&M death cruise. So when you come in to talk your shit and tell me about who else have curfew, tell me who else jackassed the scene from the day dot. And then, as if to prove, somebody said to me this morning, if Fitzgerald Hines had an intelligent thought in his head, it would die of loneliness. I could say that of the entire government, including Amory Brown. Because as if to prove God had a sense of whimsy, we beat COVID. We were allowed to get COVID down to nothing. We had 0 cases. We had nobody in quarantine. We were able to open back up the economy and start to lime a little bit. But we never closed the borders because the cocaine have to pass. If it's not for the cocaine to pass, why these jackasses can't secure the borders? Give me one good reason why we can't. Give me one good reason why, if the freaking 13 boats we have don't have propeller and you don't have diesel, you have one good working one, Christ, tow them out to sea and anchor them like a platform and put some Coast Guard on them. Every couple miles you have a boat with a gun. And if you don't stop, I'm going to shoot a hole in your boat. You can't reach my shore. It's too simple to do this. Humans have been doing it for millennia. So to hear these jackasses come and pretend and tell you we have to send now to buy more boats, we need OPVs and CPVs and QPVs, it's to jackass the scene. P&M politics is quintessential jackassing the scene. So when Rowley tell you don't jackass the scene, the only way to do that is vote P&M out. Get rid of them. Because sending to buy 2 new boats that taking the next 3 months to come here, not stopping the Venezuelans are coming in tonight. People telling me, Philip, how you know is the Venice bringing the COVID? That's a good question. Because the government is yet to tell us who it is in our beds. Who full up them 542 beds and who dead from COVID? We only get numbers. We ain't know who. It could be a half and half. We have a state of emergency. We have people living in the forest that came here from Venezuela. We've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures. What are the police doing when they reach there? Telling them go back inside your tent? Or rousing them up and sending them back Venezuela? Because we need to know. And these are important things to know. So we don't know. And if COVID did not come from the Venezuela, and if you could prove that all the cocaine dollars and all the drugs and all the guns and all the human trafficking and all of the 100,000 illegal immigrants that passed through the borders didn't bring COVID, then where did it come from? We are a 2-island state in the sea. Did it come on the Sahara dust from Africa? Where did it come from? Did it come with the oil field workers that come in from Plain to Hilton, to platform, back to Hilton, back to Plain? Did it come with them? Did it come with whoever is coming and going on those mysterious flights, including the 50 Israelis and who knows how many more others after? Did it come with them? Because for all the science that these 5 mocking pretenders that do these press conferences have, they can tell you everything and they have graphs. And now they have graphs with colors, so they're enjoying themselves. But they can't take you to day dot. The graphs start 85 cases. Take me to day dot. Take me to 0 when we were 0. Something happened between 0 and 85. What? And don't tell me something inside the country. Don't tell me candlelight vigils. Don't tell me the Syrian wedding. Don't even tell me the 50,000 people to Tobago. Because if we don't have COVID in the country, we could whine on one another. The most we will share with each other is bodily fluids and odor. COVID had to come into Trinidad from somewhere for it to spread. And until the pharmaceutical sales rep and his 4 junior doctors could tell us where it come from, miss us with the bullshit. You could have a state of emergency, a state of calamity, a state of absurdity. It doesn't matter. You could send the police in the road to shoot every Trinidadian you see. Because it feels like government boots and Butu is the last thing now to fight COVID. Beat them, hit them, slap them up. I see an old man get slapped up for taking off half his mask to eat a pie. Thank you, officer. You save all of we. Because it seems like bullshit is the order of the day. And that sending government boots, they want to make meme. Look, the soldiers reach. So what? The soldiers go shoot the COVID out of we? They go kick the COVID out of we? What's he thinking here, PNM? What's he thinking? Because I'd like to know. I'd really like to know. Plain talk. My taxpayers' dollars upholds the country and pays the salaries of including the soldiers that you're sending to kick we in we head. So you want to make sure if we're paying for that kick, what we paying for? And you had to tell we. Because we had to know. The same law that you're relying on to have your state of emergency, you had to go back in our parliament and we pay for $500 million. And the light bill that come in every month that I show is in the tens of thousands of dollars. We, taxpayers, working the ass off to pay for. So you had to tell we. Keep we in the loop. Between 0 case and 85 case, Keith Rowley, Terence Nielsen, and whoever is your Minister of National Security right now, tell us, between 0 case and 85 case, what happened? Because if you can't tell we that, you're not qualified to do the job. And this state of emergency is just government abusing its power in the parliament to lock the country down and pretend it's doing something. Because for the life of me, I can't think of one thing that this state of emergency doing that a roll of caution tape on Brian Lara Promenade couldn't do. Because if Gary could tape off the promenade and all drinking done, we didn't need a state of emergency. We needed a case of caution tape. And the reality facing each and every Trinidadian this morning. And I talk like this because I want you to hear and remember. I want you to save these videos no matter what happened to me. And I stepped out to fight these cocaine cartels years ago. So don't think that you need to pray for me. I pray for myself. But I want you to wake up to the truth of the reality of what we've lived. Since they lowered that Union Jack and raised that red, white, and black, Eric Williams, the father of lies and all the bullshit, and every single member of every secret society that found itself in PNM, all the backroom boys, all the corruption, using our treasury to launder cartel money, it is time we get a government. But you see, the closest we came to that was A&R Robinson, and then all of a sudden guns reach on the street. Trinidad and Tobago, we are now in a state of emergency that is literally a state of absurdity, because it is not the people of Trinidad and Tobago who brought COVID into Trinidad and Tobago. And I would like an answer at some point to this. And I also want to say to the people who are asking about the petition, it is safe. And if it lost, we do it over. I can't wait to walk again. I can't wait to walk. I want to go back a Rima and walk the town again. I feel this time 200,000 people walking with me. I feel I'm not the only fed up one. The kind of messages I'm getting, it's not low class people or one race of people, it's everybody. Frustrated and fed up. And it dawning on them finally that this is not how this country should have been run. How to fix it at this point, going to be a real tricky, difficult exercise. But I know, like doctors tell you all the time, step 1, cut out the cancer. The PNM, that playing arsonist and fireman in the same band, is the problem. This, the half-sister, the UNC, it's not the solution. Because the same criminally corrupt, funny money bitches that own and operate the beating heart of the PNM, own and operate the beating heart of the UNC. And until we get something outside of the two of those corrupt, racist, tribal organizations, we need a state of emergency. We need a state of indecency. We need to face our reality. We need to look into the mirror and accept that everything that these people do, we let them do it with our full approval at election time. Going forward from here, Trinidad and Tobago, look to every nation that ever survived, that ever changed, every nation who ever turned a corner. Look at Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, that was a prostitute capital of the world. Look at Cuba. Cuba has the best agriculture, the best public health in the world. Look at them. Everybody, every country had to come to terms with their demons and exorcise them to be able to dance in the bright light of truth. For us to get there, this had to stop being about if you like my face or somebody else's tone. What it has to be about is listen. Do these people sound like they understand what is wrong? Do they understand how to fix it? Do they sound like they understand how to fix it? It's time to make a conversation about that. Until then, and I ain't saying we're there yet, you know, I feel that the stupid in this country that Eric Williams have infected us with, it's deep. I don't think that one surgery taking it out. I think we have far to fall. I think we ought to get worse than Venezuela. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think we had to get worse than Venezuelans. Trinidad had to be swimming from Trinidad, begging me a Motley. Oh God, girl, you know we had always like here. Going St. Vincent and Grenada and hoping to give we all blind a corner. The richest Caribbean island, the third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere, arguably what should have been the richest country per capita in the world to live, is now a joke and sinking fast. And all they want to do to manage it is give us song bites like those jackass the scene and those smart man the SOE. Two jackass and a smart man telling you that. Isn't it ironic? They want to threaten you with soul there to kick you and shoot you. Could miss me with that bullshit. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.